You know, I think branding is everything. For example, I'm a Mac person. She's PC. And we're ferociously loyal to our brands. And really, when it comes down to it, it's technology. And there's some difference, but it's really just technology. Branding is so big today. People want to ally themselves with things. They want to feel like they're part of something bigger. And believe me, they're looking for what is the sense of your firm brand. They can tell if you're PC or Mac or whatever else. They can tell what's important to your firm. They can see what community things you support, for example. They can see how you talk about yourself on your website. They can see all about you on social media. I think for lateral hires who are smart enough to say, it's not about their first job, it's about their last job. To say, where do I really want to work? Where will it be good? Not just the pay and the benefits, but where does it make sense for me to be?
And I think it also gives you an understanding of why they're different and what the client experience is, so that when they are working with clients, they're actually working with clients that are enjoying working with their firm.
Yep.
So a good brand helps them know this is going to be a firm that's enjoyable to work at.
A brand is really about a story, and so you're telling a story about what you like to work with, whether it's to a hire or a prospective new client. And people are listening to that stories in ways that actually surprise a lot of us. And when they hear a story that resonates with them, that makes them feel like they'd be comfortable, it just is, it has gone beyond salaries. Salaries are so competitive nowadays. Everyone knows what other people are paying. It's about, is this a fit for me? And your brand story will tell me that. You know, your brand really creates a huge role in the right cultural fit. When people who are considering looking for a different opportunity are listening to the story of this firm or that firm, they're saying, am I a fit there? So, for example, I live in Minnesota, and I've lived in Minnesota most of my life, and I know I'm a fit here. I know that I'm not the glamour of California or the rush of New York. I'm a perfect fit for a large Midwestern city, and I know that. So if someone from Washington, D.C. tried to recruit me, I'd be really highly skeptical because it just doesn't feel like a fit. And the brand story does pretty much the same thing for firms.
And I think by seeing that brand story, you're able to determine too what their values are. And people want to work for a firm that actually they have the same values as well.
Firms fail at using their brand to recruit in a couple of ways. Number one is they have no idea what their brand story actually is. Number two, they have some ideas of what is the core of their brand, their values, their story, their history, how they speak about themselves. They completely fail to communicate it in the recruiting process. Very critical as anything online. So they have an ugly, dull, and boring website when really it's a cool firm. Or they're not on social media because they're afraid, and people think, what, these people never have any fun? Or the interview experience. I think this is critical. The interview experience cannot match the brand promise. So say the brand promise is, we really care about the people who work at our firm. We're almost like a family. And then you interview with them and don't hear from them for 6 weeks. Well, that's almost like some families, but maybe not the family I'd want to be part of. A brand tells you who we are, especially who we are as a group. And community is everything in retaining people in their work. It's everything. Anyone who's smart can get a higher paying job.
Or can make a lot of money.
Yeah, they can make a lot of money. That's not that difficult in our highly recruited fields. What causes people to stay is because they are embedded in the community. They care about the clients. They care about their colleagues. They care about their environment that they work in. A brand really tells them, who are we as a group? Who are we as a community? How do we treat each other? And it gives them something to live up to and live into. And without that, it's really easy to be told some wonderful story by a recruiter from a firm that has maybe a more organized story, and it sounds good because you don't know what you're really doing here, what the meaning is.
So what happens is that they leave, and then you don't have the next generation. You're constantly bringing in more people, which doesn't always mesh then with your culture and who you are as a firm.
Well, first of all, I need to say that virtually every client we work with, when they start to talk about branding, think that what they need is an orange logo instead of a red logo. And I have nothing against updating your visuals, because that's the emotional response you create for people who are looking at your firm. So that's a wonderful step. But the brand is so much more. It's about the story, the values, the core of the firm, what you promise as an experience. And so you really have to understand that without that documented, and most importantly, everyone being on the same page and knowing how to talk about it, you're really sort of limping in the race. Competitors are fierce. They're starting to really organize their brand and understand what they're doing.